I did the research on this project to make it happen.
Regarding the hemp industry in North Carolina by giving final approval to a bill that would allow hemp products to remain exempt from the state's controlled substance law. WWA's Anik Joseph explains what this means for hemp farmers and those who use the products.
There's a stigma associated with marijuana and CBD.
Walt Fletcher started growing hemp after receiving a bad batch of CBD oil and is relieved he can continue to produce the crop.
I was diagnosed in 2010 with central nervous system autoimmune diseases, and that's been a long process.
Until then, it was illegal in this country to do so, and you policed the world for it. My research ended it in a 42-2 vote. My first work for the North Carolina Senate was a unanimous decision, still to this day. This is the closest one to it. My research is pretty fucking good. In 2010, I noticed our moon was upside down, and I started watching the damn thing. It was 12 years ago. Come to find out, when the sister system nears Earth, the Earth's axis shifts. Let's cover that. It makes the sky roll. I began saying this in 2010. I'll be damned if everybody else in the world took 11 years to catch on. I never wavered because I knew our moon isn't supposed to do a 180-degree roll in the sky every night. And it is very much from rise to set. You can stand on your feet and look at it, or you can lay on your back. The damn thing's rolling 180 degrees. And it shouldn't. It appears to be doing so because we live on a ball. And it tilted. And the moon stayed where it is. And now it's bouncing all over your sky instead of rising a couple of degrees difference and back. It used to be 23-degree tilt of the moon every month because we tilted 23 degrees, spun the same direction, opposing it always. We traveled up and down on the planet because it changes its position and appearance, looking at it from here to there. Well, the point I'm trying to get across here is I have researched this just as heavily. And for 3 years, we have watched this progressively get worse and worse every day. More and more noticeable that something's going on behind our planet. And now at this point, right in here, at night, like, now, it's kind of dark here, you can go to your north horizon and look and see a massive shadow blocking all the stars. There you go. Now you know. All you got to do is look. I see you over here. Well, if, guess what? You didn't look, did you? There isn't what if. This isn't a goddamn theory. That's the whole point. Go look. You'll shut the fuck up. I'll tell you that. Because you're not going to come over here and say if this or if that. Because I don't give you theory. This is life and death. Period. When I started monitoring this shit, there was one 5.0 a week at best. Old Dutch was throwing up flags when he'd fucking be able to hit one. As I'm sitting there teaching him how to do it. Off a different map. I don't need that map anymore. Neither does anybody else learn how to do this. Now there's multiple 5.0s every day. And old Dutch Sense is still sitting over there calling out a couple of quakes. But he's not telling you why. And he knows why. He's called me a crazy old man when I told him there will be multiple 5.0s a day. But you ask him, how many 5.0s we have today? Dutch. 5 of them. Some days we have 10 and 12. It's unheard of. You got an electric clock? Plug that thing in and keep an eye on it. Several of us, several hundred people have plugged in a clock and are keeping track, and they're losing the time. They say a nanosecond we sped up. We're saying minutes a week we're slowing down. And it's evident with the tides rushing to the west coasts of the globe being high and the east coasts being low. That's not coincidence. That's called you live on a ball that spins, used to spin like this. The Earth's axis tilted. Remember we covered that. We spin like this, and now we're slowing down, and the water's going this way. Get it? Plug in a clock. Don't come asking me if. Plug in a clock.
Water about 25 millimeters in diameter.
At one point, I took on the flat Earth and I debunked it with working models. I work my world around something that I can prove. Well, Earth is round. It's actually, in truth, a little more egg-shaped. However, I'm going to show you something I discovered.
And inside this sphere are a whole bunch of little tiny air bubbles. And we will see what the angular acceleration through rotation does to these air bubbles as a function of time. What you're observing are the bubbles moving to the center axis of rotation.
So in space, we have a magnet that gathers the matter around it. And in space, it's kind of cold. And that matter, like all comets and such, space rocks and such, have iron and water. Now, a magnet is pretty warm, and it melts the water once it starts to coalesce around it. And this begins.
As a function of time, they will form this rather tightly packed bubble core. These bubbles are kept from coalescing from a small amount of added surfactant to the water.
In other words, it would create a solid tube through here because the bubbles would gather together. This is a video I've brought up several times. When a magnet has water around it, it will create an egg-shaped void in the frozen water. Again, it collects matter, melts some water, the fucking water on out freezes, causes the egg shape. Along with the water comes the rocks and the iron and the dust and everything else, which coalesces, gets compacted over time, and leaves a void inside the planet where the magnet is. Humans have a magnet field, electron magnet, just like Earth's. You bring them to the same frequency, you'll inherit her strength. That's how magnets work. It's exponential growth. It's scalar physics. It's not my words. Look it up. I've covered it in several videos and shown you these things. This is not coincidence that this information has come back to us now.
For a while, and I've always arranged the magnets into Hallbuck. Hi. So I've been making motors for a while, and I've always arranged the magnets into Hallbuck arrays. This is the rotor of a motor that I'm working on. And the idea behind a Hallbuck array is that you're focusing the magnetic field, making it stronger on one side of the array and weaker on the other. And while it's very easy to see that these work, I wasn't sure if they were actually improving the efficiency of my motors. versus just arranging all the magnets into a more standard configuration. But recently I got a Tesla meter, so I figured it'd be a good time to set up a little experiment.
And what a hallback array does, like he says, it focuses it and strengthens it on one side. She needs a better shield. You're supposed to protect all of life, so they say in that book. You inherit her strength in that egg where there's a hallback cities set up for us. We've heard about the 7 cities of gold. They've never been on the surface of the planet. They are inside that egg. And that egg is continents wide. And there's a burning sun in there. It's not some dark cave. They're golden cities that we go into and form little love circles and group hallbacks that haul back around hers and strengthen the shields 1,000-fold. We are going to go through a Nova event. It happens. It's happened before. We're still here. Obviously, this is what we do. Creator wanted this known, and I'm preaching it. It ain't prophecy from my standpoint. It's simple physics, and it's knowing we live in a 3-sun system. And it's knowing when you walk out there and look in your north horizon that that planet just about as big as we are that's within lunar distance is right on your ass. And that's called knowing. And you better start listening to your heart instead of your head, because that's where you're going to get your information on how to get into that egg. And you'd better lose your hate for your neighbor, because you're not going to be invited if you don't. That's how it works. You feeling seasick, dizzy, having problems sleeping? You got magnet field lines like she does. This is God's first creation. It is a living being, an angel of creation. The sun being an archangel, if you want to get into hierarchy. Creator didn't leave you alone. You're not on a dead rock flying through space with no God in sight. That's where I thought I was 2 years ago. I've proven beyond the shadow of my doubt that that is not true. There is a creator, and he gave you the tool to get her through this in your chest. Steward, you might want to start acting like we're on one globe and she's on her side, and we're fixing to have a Nova event, and you need your neighbor's magnet on the chain. Lee. I'm not a cult leader. Cults keep their people in the dark. I give everybody everything I have. I take you to medical journals and established physics, magnetics, medical sites. I am not prophesizing shit. You, however, have been wrong about everything you've ever said, dude. 1748 hertz oscillations when you get goosebumps on all the magnets under a millimeter of water. I was right about the lunar roll and the Earth's axis tilted. Without question. The UV spectrum is invisible. By definition, it's a blue category star, though. Our UV light is only visible because of the interaction with particles in the air. It's perceived as blue to our eyeball because of the interaction with the particle. It's invisible light. And whether you like it or not, they classify an ultraviolet star as a blue sun. It is the most common sun in the universe. This is the way it is.